So this is the PlugShare website. So when you get on this page, it kind of shows you starts to show you a little map of chargers in your location. So when you create a profile on the site, so if we go up to my profile here, you'll see that my current check-in history. If you guys see me at Chargers, feel free to say hi. Recently viewed, I was just looking because at school I'm going to be starting to charge at the building over there, so just reviewing the chargers that I actually have charged at a few times. Kind of shows you your recently viewed, your activities, so when you check in, so I had the car out for repair for a while, and I like to comment on the new upcoming locations in the area, stuff like that. So just some cool things you can do with the profile here. So when you go back to the map, when you look at the map, you can see right now it's being filtered by 3 plugs. So these are the 3 that PlugShare by default selects for the ID4. I think the wall outlet one is actually unchecked by default. However, some people may decide to try it or use it if they're in a destination charging, like charging at their destination. So not Tesla destination charger, don't be confused with that. But here we are. So yeah, CCS is going to be the one that we're going to primarily be using on our trip. I'll kind of show how you can filter it by network and everything. There's a bunch of settings you can do down here. But the thing I wanted to show is the trip planning feature primarily. But before we do that, just real quick, the green chargers on the map, those are generally the level 1 or level 2 charging stations. So the orange ones are going to be the fast chargers. So if we hover over this one, this is my preferred Electrify America in West Milwaukee, Wisconsin that you guys have seen me at before. So if you click on like a station, it'll give you all the details. So a couple of the stations are apparently under repair, and then it shows you kind of recent charges. So obviously lately, because it's been cold, we haven't, there's a few people who, including myself, that have not gotten really, anywhere close to max charging speeds. This morning, I believe it was in the negative temperatures, and I think now we're climbing into the zeros and single digits. So, what I wanted to primarily show in this video was the PlugShare travel planner. So if we go up to this menu icon here, little hamburger menu, you scroll down. So obviously I have everything set to ID4, so that's fine. You can filter locations based on, like, some people add their home chargers on here for people to contact them in an emergency. You can put if they're around, you can put the minimum power that you want at a station. So if we start filtering it by minimum 50 kilowatt stations, you see how the map instantly updates. I truly believe that PlugShare is the best way to plan a trip, just because you get to see all these reports. So like, see this one here, this is an EVgo station. That one has been having issues. I have not charged at this one, but I have seen just an abundance of complaints about this one ever since I got my car, and it's been months. So good thing that's not my primary charger. But back to the trip planner. So if we go back down to, you can filter, which charging stations you want to show up for your trip, or just on this filter feature now. We'll set the minimum power back down, just because I usually like to have that view set. But the important part is if you scroll down, underneath where all the filters and everything, there's a trip planner, and you can click plan a new trip. So here's what we're going to do here. So we're going to go ahead and start. I'm just going to put in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You can put in your home address here. And then destination, we are going to Columbus, Ohio. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. So total distance, about 452 miles. And then it does give me a warning. So right now we don't have any chargers set, so it's telling me here that we have this 452 miles. Our car does not have that advertised range. The only car I think that would even get close to that advertised range and probably would exceed it is the Lucid Air, or maybe a Tesla Model S Plaid. So obviously we're going to need to charge. The car's got a maximum advertised range of 250 miles. This is the Volkswagen ID4 First Edition with the rear-wheel drive, which is the only drive option that the First Edition came in. So we're going to have to add some charging stops on the way. So if we go back over to this left-hand side here, we can scroll back up here, and you'll see this option for networks. Now, because with the Volkswagen, as I've mentioned in other videos, and as you guys are probably doing research as well, we get free charging in Electrify America. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and toggle all of these off. So now no chargers show up, 0 locations. And let's just choose Electrify America, since that's going to be what we want. So now it'll show you all the Electrify America stations on our route. Now, it is filtering it a little bit more. There are more Electrify America stations in this area. If we go on this right-hand side here, back over to Trip Planner, you can see this option says show along route only. Search radius 2 miles. So you can either increase that search radius, so I usually up to like 5 miles, I'm willing to go that far away, and you can see 3 more chargers popped up in the Chicagoland area that we can stop at. And the one in Milwaukee also added, because this one's technically out of our route, because we actually do live over on this lower east side area. So you can see we do have chargers along the route. There is a charger and one coming soon as well in Indianapolis. However, I'm not sure if we really need to charge at that one this time. We'll calculate the mileage together here and see if this makes sense from Lafayette over to the Huber Heights, Ohio Electrify America station. This route is going to be identical to our first ever road trip video that you saw on here, because we're going to the same location. This is going to be for the U.S. men's national team against El Salvador. So we'll go ahead and just start adding stations. So that's the one thing with PlugShare. It doesn't automatically route like an application like a better route planner would. Or there's another application that I've discovered called Chargeway that's not available on the web, but it is available as a mobile app. We'll go ahead and start adding stops. Because we're at 50%, I would ideally like to leave with a little higher stated charge so that we're able to make it to the furthermost charger along the route in Chicagoland, so that we have the most, can get the most charge all the way to Lafayette. So I'll go ahead and I'm just going to add our local Electrify America charger to the trip. So we click on a location, we click add to trip, automatically fills it in here. It adds the chargers in order that you add them, so it's nice to go along the route. So then my next idea was to see, so it shows you, it's only 5 miles approximately from like downtown, Lower East Side area over to the Electrify America. So obviously we have no worries about range there, so it gives us the little green icon to indicate that, and it takes about 10 minutes of driving. So then we still have 454 miles we need to account for. So we'll go ahead and add this stop in the southernmost charger on Electrify America, since we're going to be traveling from north to south, and we'll go ahead and add that to trip. So then that shows that's about 100 miles between chargers, but then we still need 358 miles to make it all the way to Columbus. So we'll add this Lafayette, Indiana, which we charged at before, and we usually have a decent experience there. So we'll go ahead and hit add to trip. So between Hodgkins, Illinois Target, and the Walmart in Lafayette, Indiana, there's 126 miles. So, just good. I don't think we would have been able to make it. We definitely wouldn't have been able to make it, I don't think, with the cold weather. At least it would have been cutting it really short. I think we could have made it, but like I said, cutting it really short. So we could have probably made it from Milwaukee to Lafayette and just bypassed the ones in Chicago, but honestly, it's not too bad. There's probably going to be traffic that we can, if we hit rush hour around this time this evening. We're still figuring out what time we're going, since Caitlin is on jury duty today. So we were supposed to leave this morning, but oh well. So there are chargers in Indianapolis. So like I said, if we were to uncheck the show along route only, there's another Electrify America. It's just out of the way. And I think we went this way last time. It adds about 20 to 30 minutes depending on traffic. So I think I'd rather just cut through Indianapolis. Looks like you cut through the downtown area maybe. And then we'll make our way to Huber Heights. So we're going to go ahead and just skip that Indianapolis one. I'm going to hit the show along route only to not plague us with a bunch of icons here. Not that it's that confusing. We're almost done planning for the trip here. So if we hit the Huber Heights, Ohio, so we'll try to make it from Lafayette to Huber Heights. I'll go ahead and add that. That's going to be our longest stretch of the trip with 172 miles between chargers. Now, I do believe that we can make it. If we might even have to charge above 80% in Lafayette just to make sure we can make it. But I still think the time charging in Lafayette, even if that's longer, that will still save us from having to stop in Indianapolis and going out of our way there. Because these are most of these chargers are right off the highways. So this one is at, like I said, a Walmart right on the, with a lot of, restaurants and stuff like that. Not a great stop. It's very Indiana. And when I say very Indiana, I mean very Midwest in terms of the same, chains being at each stop. So, but it's nice that they put them in locations where you can, have a couple options. So then Huber Heights, for example, is going to be at the Walmart. There's like a Bob Evans, a Goodwill, right off the highway, which is the important part. I really don't care about amenities as much. Yes, it's nice to do things, but when you're road tripping, you kind of just want to, stay with the car and, or just run and use the restroom and run out. But yeah, and then what we'll do, because we're going to Columbus, and actually this pin is really close to where we're staying. I think we're staying somewhere up here, closer to the Ohio State campus. But that's, we're just using this for visual purposes. So then we'll add the one in Columbus, even though it's only 61 miles to the destination, because our Airbnb that we're staying at does not have a charger. So we'll just, charge it up as much as we need to for the couple days that we're there. We're going to be here from Wednesday, January 26th, which is today, until Saturday, and that would be the 29th. So then we do also have a road trip coming up to Minnesota next week. So that'll be fun because we'll be utilizing the I-94 Wisconsin Chargers. And then we're also going to be going from Minneapolis over to like the Rochester area where Caitlin's friends live, one of her best friends from high school, and then we'll probably cut through La Crosse and see, how we go. I know Electrify America covers the I-94 corridor pretty well, but once you get on 90 here, there's kind of a dead zone, so we'll have to utilize some other charging networks. For this one, our cost is going to be zero because of the ID4 charging plan. We kind of have this set up, so this is our route. So once you get all these green here, you know that you have enough theoretical distance in between each charger for your car to navigate to. And then, so obviously this one does not give you as many details as a Better Route Planner in that it does not tell you how long to charge at each one. But honestly, I think those are sometimes a little misleading depending on temperature and stuff like that. Maybe that's great in ideal conditions in California. I think a Better Route Planner might actually account for it too, but me personally, I just don't like the app as much because of the interface. I really would prefer to plan it myself in PlugShare, see what other people say about each station, having that information accessible. Now that's just a personal preference. I can definitely do a video on a Better Route Planner too, to show kind of what they recommend, and maybe I will actually. I might just add it right after here to show you Chargeway, which is another one that I've found, and then a Better Route Planner. So once we're done with the trip, we go ahead and scroll down in the trip viewer here, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to save it. So trip to Columbus, trip saved. So then we can, in the future we can go back here and in our mobile app, and we can go into Trip Planner and see that it's saved and when I last saved it. So 7 stops in total, including our destination. Honestly, we probably don't have to charge as much if we charged higher, but it's cold out and we do like making stops anyway, so I think it's just, good habit to get into. Because, the cold weather is probably going to cut it because we're even colder, much colder actually, than the last time we went. So I think more charging stops the better, reduce that driver fatigue as well. Because it is a 7-hour drive, so I mean, it's hard to drive for that much straight. I know people do that, but that's not me. I'd rather stop. So if I hit overview, if you zoom out, or actually zoom in will probably show a little better. It'll show you each. I'm gonna get this filter out of the way. It'll show you each of the charging stations you selected. Whoops, selecting too much there. There we go. So then, kind of shows you an outline of the plan. You can hit view directions, and it will actually take you to Google Maps. And some of these are weird. I said that they automatically fill in weird addresses for locations, so just ignore the first and last one. But the other one, you can see Electrify America. This is the one in Lafayette, and then it'll show you your Google Maps, just a Google Maps with all the stops and everything. So that's kind of cool because you can send that to your phone then with this icon here. So then you send it to Google Maps, and that's what I prefer to use for navigation in the ID4 rather than the navigation or something like, again, a Better Route Planner. This should work the same for an iPhone as well. I believe you can use that. I personally have a Google Pixel 6 Pro, so Android based. So I just wanted to go over real quick. If we go into the PlugShare app, I just wanted to show you how the mobile app looks in addition, and how you can access the trips that we created on the web. So when we go in the mobile app, it shows you same view, similar view with the chargers in the area. You get to zoom out and view in the other areas around you as well, and obviously you can do the same things with filters by hitting this filter button, and it's very similar in terms of the filters that you have online. There's a couple differences, but fundamentally, functionally, it's pretty similar. So if we want to look at the trip we just made online, since we are logged in with my profile, we'll go ahead and hit trips, and you can see the trip we just made to Columbus, and it gives you just a quick view of all the stops we selected. So obviously, like I said, you can see these two between Lafayette and then Dayton, Hubert Heights, actually, more specifically. That will be our longest stretch. So, but what's nice is you can hit each charging station, look at the view, see what people say are the best chargers, stuff like that, and then hit the direction button, and it'll take you through Google Maps or your default navigation app. So I think that's super, super helpful. Then you can kind of just swipe through at the bottom here, each one, or tap on each icon individually. But I thought that would be interesting to show. You can also bookmark your favorite stations. So I have quite a few of the local ones in there in case I want to get to them quickly, and then view similar ideas with your profile, stuff like that. So now, just to compare PlugShare. So PlugShare, like I said, the orange are the fast chargers that have usually a minimum of 25 kilowatts, which is pretty slow for fast charging. better than nothing. And then the green ones are going to be the slow charger. So I'll kind of show you how Chargeway, that's going to be an application that does this a little bit differently. So it's weird. It's very strange. It's a huge difference between PlugShare. So you can kind of set your. So the idea is for your trip planner on this app, you can set temperature, outdoor temperature, and then your speed. Now at 10 degrees, 75 miles an hour, I'm pretty sure I do get more than 128 miles of range. I actually haven't tested really a long road trip in such cold weather yet, so this will kind of put us to the test. We might have to add that charging station in Indianapolis if it's cold enough. But anyway. The idea is you put your starting point, so I'm just going to put in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Just choose my home address there. Actually, I'm not going to add a manual stop. I'm just going to hit destination. We'll go Columbus, Ohio. Then we'll hit set route. It should do it automatically here. And we'll hit start. So I just chose 10 degrees because we're on the single digits. Now it comes up with the route. Use selected route, and we'll see what it lists here. I think it's actually going to do the calculation once you hit use route. So it thinks it's going to take 15 hours and 55 minutes to charge. Now I disagree. I think we've made it in less before. We're definitely not charging for 8 hours and 48 minutes. I think this is due to the fact that it's underestimating our range. This is just to show these charging apps are imperfect. I'll show a better route planner, which is kind of, a lot of people think it's the gold standard. But let's go ahead and, so just to show the stations, they kind of show you on a scale. I think it's 1 to, oh gosh, we have to look. I think it's 1 to 7, maybe 8, maybe 9, 10. I don't know. I have to look, but it shows you based on numbers like your fast charging speed. So this one, it shows Electrify America. They show you like in terms of, instead of giving you the kilowatts, they show you like a number, which is arguably more user friendly. I kind of get the idea of their ideas with that. And then I don't know why it wants to charge at a quote unquote level 3, you know. This is it's still a DC. Oh, it's a Volkswagen dealer, but that's going to be slow because it's a lot less kilowatts. This one's only 24 kilowatts, so no way we're stopping there because we do want to stick with Electrify America anyway. But just to show, there's some options out there. It's similar to PlugShare, just shows the different speeds of the charger. Shows you like level 2s, and then they kind of are weird and go up to like level 7s and stuff like that. But it shows that our car only can handle like up to the number 6. Because we can only get up to 125 kilowatts at this point. But for cars that get more than that, like the Rivian, who I think will charge up to 350 kilowatts, you're going to get probably you're going to get a higher number than there, and you'll coordinate that on the list here. So we can't take advantage of, for example, 7, which is up to 350 kilowatts, I believe. But all in all, cool app. I like PlugShare better. This one you can show kind of like a timer on how much it'll take to charge to the maximum current, and I believe you can change. Oh, actually, here we go. So if we do up to 50%, it'll take like 46 minutes to get there, or to get to 100 from there, because you can change like the target. It'll show you like what your current percent is. So we're currently at 50%, so it's going to calculate if we did want to charge it to 80, it'll take about 20 minutes. And that's with the max charging speed though. So this is not considering the temperature and such outside. So you can kind of change between energy and distance too. So you've seen energy is kind of cool because the charging. I really don't like measuring charging in miles because I think it's too volatile. So taking a look in a better route planner, I actually just had to reinstall the app since I uninstalled it just because I personally don't use it, like I said. Some people really love it. Some people swear by it. I can't get behind. I'd really rather plan it myself. Granted, this one might, beat me on planning. I just personally like to do it myself. So if I hit select vehicle, we'll go ahead and select. We've got a Volkswagen ID4. Actually doesn't have a first edition, but we have the similar to the Pro model with a 77 kilowatt battery. We do not have a heat pump. I think some of the Canadian models might have. I'm not sure about Europe. We hit done. We'll do starting point as Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And then we'll end in Columbus, Ohio. There we go. So then we'll hit start. So it's going to calculate a route, and it actually thinks that, yeah, I don't agree with this one either. You can definitely show your network preferences, which I might have to go in just to give it a fair chance. But I don't like this route because it's much faster to go through Indianapolis. It actually does depend on traffic, but there's no Electrify Americas through Fort Wayne, through Columbus, that route. I don't like that route as much. I'd rather stay, where I know there are chargers in case of an emergency. So I'm going to go ahead and I believe I can adjust the filters here. So if I hit the button in the upper left, it'll show you kind of a few, things. So we'll start, we are leaving at 50%. It'll show you a few options here. If I hit advanced settings, it'll actually show up like a reference consumption, a few other things you can change. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that and use the default settings instead. We'll keep this, and then I believe, it actually doesn't let us change the charging networks unless we hit advanced. So I'm actually going to go back in here, chargers and networks. Let's do network preferences. We'll search Electrify America. I'm gonna hit use for this road trip, I'm gonna hit use exclusively and prefer, because that's what I charge free on. I don't really want to pay for charging, or pay for fast charging, I should say. So let's go ahead and we'll recalculate the route now that we've changed that setting, and it'll probably now route us through Indianapolis. Yep, there we go. So this actually pretty much has our route spot on. So we'll leave from Milwaukee. We'll get over to, it is telling me to go to the charger in Logan Square rather than the one we were planning, but I'm going to go on this other way just because it's not accounting for traffic right now. I believe you have to pay for the premium version to account for traffic, or there's another setting to enable. It would probably get the one in Hodgkins otherwise though, but that's okay. So then it'll show you the stop in Lafayette and Huber Heights. It also recommends ditching Indianapolis. So what you can also do is go back and kind of see. So, here's why it's not recommending the Milwaukee one. It's because I have it set at that we're leaving at 90%. Now that's not true. So I'm gonna go back up and change that. So we're gonna go back down. We're leaving at, don't know why it's not letting me change this. This is what I'm talking about. This app, there we go. So yeah, we hit 50. Go back, recalculate. It'll tell us to go to West Milwaukee then probably. And actually it doesn't. Interesting. So I think we can make it to Logan Square. I'm not going through downtown Chicago, so I'm going to make my own call on that route, just because we're probably going to be cutting through at rush hour. We're actually not leaving at 12:30. But then similar route in terms of Lafayette, Huber Heights. So I'm surprised it's not making me charge in Milwaukee, because I have 50%. I think my car was just saying maybe 90 miles of range, so that'll be cutting it pretty close to go 86 miles. That's where I'm also talking about not taking into account whether you have to pay for it, but personally I think I'm better at gauging it anyway because I measure it real time on the car. So personal preference, just wanted to show you a few different options you had for planning the route, and they're ultimately all going to be, allegedly similar, but I like my way of using PlugShare the best.